Hi friends, today we're going to make cheesecake sopapilla. I've made this a number of times at Moving Arts and everybody loves it. It's a little bit of a cheat because I don't do the dough from scratch. I use these handy dandy crescent rolls, which you can get at your local market, every market, if they're in the refrigerated section. We'll need 2 cans of these. We'll also need 2 blocks, that's 8 ounces each, of cream cheese. So you're going to have a pound of cream cheese softened. I've got it softened and already there. And then you're going to add a half a cup of sugar. You'll need another half cup of sugar with a teaspoon of cinnamon mixed in for the top. Some half a stick, which is a 1/4 cup of melted butter, and about a teaspoon of vanilla. So bring the butter over. That's the last thing you do. So the first thing you do, crack one of these cans open and spread the crescent rolls over the bottom of the pan, a 9 by 13 pan, and then seal all the little seams. And you'll see that if you've never worked with it before, you'll see it when I do the top. Seal all the seams because you don't want anything seeping through. You put it right into the pan. No butter necessary because that comes later. So to your 2 blocks or 8 ounce each of cheese, this is 1 pound of cream cheese, you're going to add a half a cup of sugar. And you make sure that your cream cheese is soft. This does not work if it's not soft. So what you're going to do is you're just going to blend the sugar into the cream cheese. And I'm going to work this in as best I can. Yeah, and if you've never used the crescent rolls before, I'll show you how to pop the can. I have a feeling most of you have seen them or used them, more than likely. They're pretty popular, and they're very easy to use for lots of different recipes. But anyway, here we go. Sugar mixed into your cream cheese. It's that simple. Let me get the edge there. I'm using a rubber scraper because it just seems to be easier to kind of scrape the sugar up and blend it. To that, I'm going to add my 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Get that in there. You want a little fresh vanilla flavor. You're not using any eggs in this, which is great for those who don't use eggs, but you are using some dairy, although I'm not sure I refer to cream cheese as dairy. But anyway, once you get this done, and that looks pretty good, that's pretty well mixed, you're going to spread it right on top of this, right on top of your crescent rolls. Seems like a lot, but it has to go a long way. So, and this is what makes it like this ends up tasting, after it bakes, it ends up tasting just like cheesecake, but it has a crust on the top and a crust on the bottom. I kind of don't go all the way to the edges just because I don't want it sort of baking over the edge and sticking to the pan. That would be no fun. But just very quickly and easily blend your cream cheese, spread it evenly over the bottom of your crust, and that looks pretty good. I think we can safely say that looks even. Okay, that aside, the next thing you're going to do is take the next can and peel it. And this is the fun part. And then there's a black line on here, and you crack that on the edge of your countertop. And it helps to open the can. It comes right out. This you don't have at room temperature. Keep this in the fridge right until you use it. And the next thing you do is very simple. You're going to lay this right across the top of your cheesecake bars. And you will want to try to spread it a little bit to the edges. You kind of want it to cross over. Yeah, just like that. And so these are the seams I was talking about on the bottom. You want those, absolutely want those sealed for the bottom part of it. The top part, it's not quite as important, but I still sort of pinch them together so they're less noticeable. They will cook together anyway, but you don't want the cream cheese sinking through. So there we go. They're all pinched. That looks pretty good. Let's get that to the edge a little more. Okay, I think we're pretty safe to say we can go on at this point. The next step is taking your 1/4 cup of butter. You have to melt the butter, and you're going to pour, make sure I have it all in order. Yep, you're going to pour the butter across the top. So I'm kind of going a little bit at a time. I will spread it to make it coat the cheesecake evenly. Let me get my spatula, and I'm just going to sort of spread this across the top. And this is when the pan gets sort of oiled so that the cheesecake bars won't stick. Normally we would prepare a pan for baking. Almost every single time you will use some sort of fat to keep the dough from sticking, but here the butter kind of does the trick for you. So it's a half a stick of butter or a quarter cup of butter, and then you have your other half cup of sugar that you've put a teaspoon of cinnamon in and mixed it evenly, and this is what you're going to sprinkle quite across the top. And you think it is a lot, but you'll be surprised at how much of this you'll use. Sometimes I don't use all of it, but on this one I may not use all of it. It looks pretty well coated to me, and there's already sugar in it. So I'm going to leave about, I don't know, that's probably an eighth of a cup or so. That's it. That's it for our cheesecake sopapilla bars. Here they are, ready to go into the oven. They'll probably bake, I think I put them in for about 30 minutes. Yeah, about 30 minutes. And check that just to make sure. We'll stick them in the oven, and I will meet you back here when they're done. Welcome back. I have the cheesecake sopapilla out of the oven, and it turned out perfectly. I cooked it for exactly 30 minutes. In this 9x13, which seems to be a little bit oversized, so maybe that's why it cooked so well. But anyway, this is it, and I cut a couple pieces so you could see what the texture's like. You've got this beautiful kind of the crust on top with a little bit of a cinnamon sugar glaze. You've got the cheesecake in here. This one you could refrigerate even longer, and then serve it cold, and then it really tastes like a cheesecake. This one's just chilled enough to firm up, and it's still a bit warm, so it'll be a little soft on the cut. But oh my goodness, it looks amazing. Oh my God, it's so good. Delicious, scrumptious, yummy, yummy, yummy. I think you're going to love this. Have good luck with it. Have a lot of fun. There are all kinds of things you can serve this with. You can do fruit on the top. It's like a cheesecake, so play with it when you serve it. But bake it as is with the recipe. I wouldn't fool around with that too much. I think that needs to be followed pretty closely. But you can garnish it with all kinds of fruit or nothing at all, and it's wonderful. So have a good time, and I'll see you in